Yeah, we did 2 podcasts this week, guys. 2 podcasts. First, Clen Gaming's podcast, and then now I just finished recording, and it should be up by this point, the Loot Lounge podcast by JayKey. Guys, we're going to talk about that podcast down below in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's talk about this podcast. So I would imagine this video would be very, very quick for you guys because when I made the initial video after I was on Clark's podcast, I was all talking about like, hey, it's really cool that we have this insane long-form content. I was talking about things like how exciting it is that there's really, really long-form YouTube videos about Fortnite because I mentioned like I talked at it, and even in Clark's video I mentioned the Loot Lounge podcast because I was watching that myself. I've been watching both Clark's and the Loot Lounge podcast by myself, like at work, and it's been really getting me through it. I need to watch more of iTalk, man. He just needs to upload those podcasts a little bit more, but regardless, when he does, I always really appreciate it. But guys, I have been listening to the Loot Lounge podcast since it came out. That's how I found, I don't remember how I found JayKey's YouTube channel, but I'm always down because there's so few of it right now, and it seems like it's it's picking up a little bit more steam. Few podcasts related about Fortnite specifically, and there's always so much to talk about. You can talk about the storyline, the state of the game, things in the past. You can talk about like the topics when it comes to Fortnite. It can go on forever. They really can. And I really appreciate that people are making podcasts about it, and especially collaborating with other creators, because this Loot Lounge podcast that I just did had many, many viewers on, which, by the way, if any of you are watching, it was a pleasure and an honor to meet you. JayKey, was an honor to be on your podcast. I really appreciate it. Anyways, where I was getting with that point is it's really cool to see more and more long-form content. And even in another video where I was talking about like post the podcast with Clark, people were commenting down below saying they really enjoy the long-form Fortnite content, and it was just really reassured me that this is something that I should be exploring. Not particularly podcasts. I'm saying like I've been making like long-form tier list videos and stuff like that, and people really watch them. First of all, the audience retention rate is surprisingly very good on those. So it's really been making me think lately how we go from like all these quick Fortnite shorts and these like news videos right in your face, you know what I mean? And there's been lacking these long-form videos, and it's really nice to see that these are finally coming back. I have been enjoying the Loot Lounge podcast for a very long time now since it came out, and I know it's still a little bit in its infancy, the podcast. I believe the number we did was number 7 or 8. I can't believe, I could be totally wrong on that, but I've been watching it since it came out, and I really love it. I love the vibes there. I love that you really get to know the creators. I love the different topics we talk about, the games, there's little games that we play on it. So guys, I encourage you, and I've been talking about this for a very long time, since I've been listening to the Loot Lounge podcast, because that podcast is really something special. It really is. I enjoyed it, and I am absolutely honored to have been a part of it. It's really cool that a podcast that I have been listening to on my own time, and now I'm being a part of these couple things. It's insane to me. It really is. So, JayKey, I'm honored. Thank you so much again, and it was a really good podcast, guys. Go check it out down below. The link will be there for you. There's been a couple times in that podcast where my microphone had to get muted because my building and the apartment decided to test the fire alarms. I sat down. It wasn't happening until I started hopping in there with JayKey, and we were talking for a little bit, getting ready for the podcast, and I'm like, oh, great. They decided to test the fire alarms, and it was going off every once in a while, so it made for a couple funny moments. I'm very glad that it didn't hurt anything, at least according to JayKey. It didn't. I haven't listened to the podcast yet. It's typical, like I usually listen to podcasts at work, gets me through the day, so I usually save them, but hopefully that was all good. According to JayKey, it was all good, but that made for a couple funny moments, and I was like, oh, come on, man. So JayKey, if you happen to be watching this, I'm honored. Thank you very much. It was an absolute blast and an absolute honor to meet anybody who was on there. Guys, go check out the Loot Lounge podcast. Again, I've been enjoying it for a very, very long time now. The link will be in the description and the pinned comment down below if you'd like to check it out. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you are new here and you enjoy the content, please consider hitting the like button up on the channel a ton, and subscribe if you are brand new. Check out any videos on the Clen channel. There'll be 2 videos on screen for you right now, but I don't think you should check those out. I think you should check out JayKey's video in the pinned comment down below. Go check it out right there. I will see you either there or in the next video, guys. Take care.